So movies. There are probably hundreds of movies I like. Probably over 100 movies. I even made a list of the top 100 movies. There's probably at least 200 movies that I have given a positive score to, or a positive opinion of. Basically the same thing. And most of the movies I watched, it's kind of biased because it's more recent movies. But I still like a lot of movies that have come out over the past few years. I hate very little movies. I didn't make 10 movies I hate, but most of those movies are really bad to begin with, so it's pretty easy to hate those movies. But even some of the movies that I don't really care for, like 2001: Space Odyssey, where I said the movies that I don't like, I still don't think 2001: Space Odyssey is a bad film. I just think that movie is just boring to watch. And I really think it's deserving of one of in the top 10 movies as well. So yeah, we'll be going over top 10 movies I like. And yeah, I'll probably be doing many of these considering that there's so many good movies out there. So I'll be telling you top 10 good movies. The first movie, and I'll be thinking of random movies that I like. Number 1, John Wick. These lists are in no particular order. I'm just gonna put the entire series on this list for the entire series. John Wick is a very great action movie. Keanu Reeves is very great in this movie. We all know the reason why this movie is great because of Keanu Reeves. The John Wick movies don't really have, the most groundbreaking, stories. It doesn't have, these amazing twists in the movies. It's a very simple story where John Wick basically retires from his wife with her, and then his wife dies by the bad people, the table, which are the villains throughout the whole movie, and then the dog is also dies as well. And basically, yeah, that's the entire movie. John Wick kills a bunch of people for a dog. There's also 2 sequels, which expands on the John Wick storyline as well. And the third film, it realizes that the High Table just wants him dead because they didn't do what John Wick didn't do what they wanted, and they didn't get the way. And the table wanted to kill this one person. They refused to kill him, and John Wick was thrown, spoilers in the third movie, with the guy who was presumed to be dead in this movie as well. So yeah, the John Wick movies, and the game sucks as John Wick. The game, John Wick hacks, don't play that game. It's garbage. But yeah, it doesn't even make you feel like John Wick. So, but the movies are pretty great. So yeah. The next movie on the list is The Avengers. Yep, The Avengers. Yep, I'm a normie. I like The Avengers. I'm a boy normie. I'm not one of those people who hate The Avengers and hate the Marvel movies. Maybe except for Age of Ultron. Don't like that one. But yeah, The Avengers, I'm going to talk about the first one, not the other two. Because the first one, people hate this movie. There's like 2 people who hate this movie because there's no stakes in The Avengers. But again, the movie is basically a achievement of a longer story. Avengers is really only a part of a longer story. Yes, there's no stakes in the movie, but why does that matter? The stakes are more apparent in Infinity War and Endgame and those movies. But yeah, there are still stakes in this movie. Like the entirety of New York being destroyed and the entirety of the planet being taken over by Loki if the Avengers fail. So yeah, there's definitely more stakes in this movie than people realize it. The movie has a lot of good action scenes, a lot of, the characters, and the MCU is the only good cinematic universe to actually do well. There's been tons of movies and series that try to recopy the Avengers from the Dark Universe to the DCEU to now even the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. It just seems that the other companies do not seem to know what works about the MCU movies in general. The way you do it correctly is you have to set up a few of the major characters, what they did with Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and Hulk. They set up these characters in their own movies before the movie came out. That's how you do it, and that's why DCEU failed, because they failed to set up Batman. They set up Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but not Aquaman, who got his movie after, and the Flash movie never came to light. There was the Arrow, and no, Arrowverse is not part of the DCEU. I am sorry to tell you that. Next movie on the list is a new movie I gave a really high score to, and that is Joker. I think that Joker as a movie is better than The Dark Knight. But again, The Dark Knight and Joker are 2 very highly rated movies. except by Rotten Tomatoes, of course, because the critics hated this movie for the quote-unquote violence that didn't exist in Joker. Joker is a very great character study about, of course, Arthur Fleck, who basically has, throughout the movie, he is basically gets worse and worse throughout the movie. Though, of course, this movie does have its haters on the top 10s, complaining, oh, they changed the Joker to other either ways. But again, if you understand how society treats people nowadays, that basically people in the world are treated like this. People in the world, and yes, we can realize that, hey, doesn't matter who we are, and yeah, it doesn't matter who people are. People with mental illness get picked on all the time, and yeah, I think everybody is either a causer or a victim of this, and this movie shows that, hey, people with mental illness get treated badly. We have to treat them correctly, and this movie, has a very, and people say one character can't carry a movie, but we really have a movie that has one character basically carrying the movie, because the entirety of the entirety of the characters are not the reason why people watch this movie. People watch this movie because of Joker and because of Phoenix and his performance. So yeah, that's the third movie on the list. And yeah, the fourth movie on the list is Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is a classic. We all know it is. Just like Jaws, which is another Spielberg movie. I'll probably go over Jaws in another video or in this video. But yeah, Jurassic Park is dinosaurs. Unless you're a boring unless you're a boring religious person who tries to tell you that dinosaurs never existed, whereas there's probably the 2.9% of people who don't like the movie on IMDb, and the people who are like the 5% of people who hate this movie are, of course, the religious people who think that dinosaurs are there to trick for God to trick us. But Jurassic Park is an amazing movie. It has probably some of the best CGI of any movie in the 90s, the other movie being Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Jurassic Park is basically, if you love dinosaurs, you love this movie. It's just that simple. And yeah, this movie is one of the most, and this movie also captures the majesty and majesticness of dinosaurs. I'm sorry about mispronounced majestic. But yeah, the beautifulness of the dinosaurs, the greatness of dinosaurs, and yeah, this movie is a all-time classic. And yeah, I think everybody's seen this movie already. So yeah, I don't really have to explain the plot of Jurassic Park to anybody, And yeah, I think everybody has seen this movie. And yeah, it's another movie that I like. So the next movie on the list is Terminator 2 and Terminator 1, both movies. Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 are classic action sci-fi movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he is amazing. He is great. I can't do a Schwarzenegger impression. There are much better people on the internet who can do a Schwarzenegger impression better than me. And I don't really like long movies that much. But again, Terminator 2 is basically it's more about the story is there where they have to stop Judgment Day. That's the entire story of the movie. It's stopping Judgment Day. That's the entire premise. The premise is pretty easy to understand. You have to stop the bad guy, the Terminators, or Skynet from destroying the world. That's the entire part of the movie. It's pretty simple, but it works. The CGI in this movie, even though it came out in 1991, still is amazing and holds up to this day. The characters are amazing, and the fights are amazing in this movie. Basically, it's one of those. It's even rated on the top 10 as the greatest action movie of all time, and among some of the greatest movies of all time. Which, of course, I agree with that one as well. Number 6. Number 6, we have another Marvel movie on this list. Surprise, surprise. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy. There are people on the internet who actually hate this movie. Which, of course, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what movie version you watched. You probably watched the bootleg version by Warsaw. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is a very fun and entertaining movie to watch. And the second one as well. But the second one is more overshadowed by the first one. Really. And yeah, people might hate Peter Quill for what he did in Infinity War, but still, Guardians of the Galaxy is still a pretty great and funny and entertaining movie to watch. I just don't see how could anybody hate this movie. It's just, and when people say MCU movies are all the same, just show them this movie. This movie and Avengers are way different movies. Yeah, this movie is very much different from the Avengers. This movie is about people in space. Avengers is about Loki attacking the Earth. The reason why all Marvel movies are the same is because of Age of Ultron, because of that movie. But yeah, the MCU movies are not all the same. Ant-Man is way different from Guardians of the Galaxy. The only movies that are remotely similar are direct sequels. So yeah, this movie is very funny. And the second movie, which people say more of the same as bad, but not really, with Guardians of the Galaxy and some other franchises such as Zombieland and Jumanji. Well, more of the same, it does works, because they know what the target audience wants, so you give them more of the same. Same thing with John Wick, the whole franchise. That's more of the same type of movie, but again, that's what you expect from John Wick. You don't expect the second John Wick movie to be goddamn Pulp Fiction, and one of them being the Godfather, even though two completely different plots and movies. You expect, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to be Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Basically, the same movie, the same story continued. The next movie is number 7, is the most recent movie, Sonic. Yes, the Sonic movie. And yes, I'll probably make a part 2 or part 3, because there's so many movies on this list. The Sonic movie is a very entertaining movie. They also made Sonic. They actually fixed the design of the Sonic movie. And yes, there are Sonic haters on Metacritic that will probably tell you otherwise. On Metacritic and IMDb, Sonic is bad. Sonic has never been good. The same people who will go around and tell you that Sonic is the worst video game character in the history of games, they sort of not even watch the movie if they hate Sonic so much. And the Sonic movie has a 6.6 on IMDb, mostly from Sonic haters giving the movie a 0 or the lowest score possible. But come on, the movie had Jim Carrey as Eggman. Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. Basically, besides the only other roles that are completely perfect is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and a few other actors. And of course, and again, Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura. This was just a perfect fit for a comedian to be Dr. Eggman. It's basically, yeah, that's probably, if that's the main reason why people watch this movie, is because of Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. He basically, he makes the movie way better. If Jim Carrey wasn't in this movie, it would probably just been a generic movie. But of course, Jim Carrey in any movie uses his magic to make it better. And even then, the movie is still pretty great. So, number 7. Deadpool. Yep, Deadpool is on the list. You were, of course. Oh, it's a Deadpool. No, Deadpool, you're not explaining this one. I get this is my opinion, it's not yours. Deadpool is Deadpool. This is what you expect from Deadpool. You expect comedy. You expect 4 breaks. Oh, but the mask did it first. But Deadpool did better. That's basically what it is. Deadpool is actually a low-budget movie. Yeah, and its sequel had a bigger budget. But yeah, Deadpool is a low-budget movie. A low-budget superhero movie. Kind of like the Joker. And it's just funny. Deadpool is a very funny movie. The story is a simple revenge story. Well, Deadpool is getting revenge on Ajax, who is also played by the same guy who plays Japan in Alita Battle Angel. And yeah, basically, Deadpool wants revenge on the guy who turned him evil, and wants to get the go back that he used to like. And yeah, basically, he wants to but basically the entire movie is about getting revenge on Ajax, who basically is the bad guy of the entire movie. And yeah, he just wants to kill him. He basically turns into Deadpool. And he basically, 4 breaks through. Basically, the first half of the movie is for him 4 breaking the movie, and the real movie starts in the first hour, the actual part where he goes against Francis. But again, he explains how he became Deadpool. So yeah, Deadpool is pretty great, and its sequel is as well. More proving that more of the same does work. But again, it's Deadpool. So yeah. Next movie on the list, number 8. Number 8 is the Godzilla franchise. I'm going to put the Godzilla, except for 1998. Well, that doesn't exist. That Zilla is not Godzilla. But we'll tell you about Godzilla, the old one. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla. And, yep, basically every Godzilla movie I have seen, I liked. The old Godzilla movies are cheesy, but yet they're great. That's what makes the old Godzilla movies so amazing. And then we had the new Godzilla movies. Godzilla was pretty great. The new one, the 2014 one, that one was a pretty great. yes, it did need more Godzilla in the movie. And guess what? King of the Monsters is basically Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. That's the entire movie revolves around. The plot is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And yeah, 91% of people like on. And of course, IMDb, you have these quote unquote film critics giving it 1 out of 10. Oh, the human characters. They wasted the human characters. But again, if you watched any of the old Godzilla movies are about Godzilla fighting against monsters. And yeah, Godzilla is amazing. It's basically, and Godzilla King of Monsters is what I expected from a Godzilla movie. Godzilla fighting, the movie is called Godzilla. It's not called Humans, okay? And yeah, that's, the critic opposed to Godzilla. They don't understand the movie is not called Humans. It's called Godzilla. Yeah, the Godzilla is, one point, I hope they continue making more Godzilla movies because, again, people say more of the same is bad, but with the case of Godzilla, you just have to put Godzilla in the ring of another monster, and yeah, it will just be amazing regardless. Unless it's Godzilla, unless it's like really, really, really bad, But again, unless it's like really, really, really bad, but most of the audiences who watch Godzilla King of the Monsters actually like this movie, and yeah. Number 9. Number 9, Ice Age. I'm gonna put the entire franchise, but the first Ice Age movie had 7.5 IMDb. I already went over why Ice Age quiz and quotes, but we're going over the entire franchise in general. Ice Age is a movie about animals in the Ice Age, it basically 20,000 years ago, Earth was basically filled with a bunch of animals from the Ice Age, such as mammoths, saber-toothed cats. I always liked watching movies about dinosaurs and prehistoric animals. And guess what? They finally made a movie about animals in the Ice Age. Of course, there was another movie that is pretty similar to it called Alpha, which was about the first men and how they tamed the wolf. But yeah, Ice Age is a pretty entertaining version of the animals from the Ice Age, which is always the Ice Age entire time era was a very interesting era to me because of any time prehistoric time was really interesting because I liked watching stuff about prehistoric animals. I liked the dinosaur movie. I liked Jurassic Park. I liked the Rocky of Dinosaurs movies and stuff. They're not movies, they're documentaries. But yeah. But again, Ice Age is basically all the animals in the Ice Age. You also have a lot of funny moments. And of course, you have Scrat, which is always the best moments of the movies is the parts with the Scrat. With Scrat trying to get his acorn and always failing to get the acorn in all of the movies. Even my least favorite, the fourth one, that still the best parts of the movie is with Scrat. And it doesn't matter which Ice Age movie you watch, the Scrat parts are always the best parts. And yeah, Ice Age movies are very funny. And yeah, they're very funny to watch. And they're all entertaining movies. And yeah, it's based off a period that is a very interesting period. And it kind of almost misses why did he kill off the Ice Age animals? Why did he kill them off, humans? You had one job. And the first one does have Ice Age Baby. That's like the one negative of the movie because Ice Age Baby is like the most hated character in the entire fiction now because of memes. So we have to go over that too. So yeah. And the number 10 movie is Alita Battle Angel. Yep, this movie's on the list. Alita Battle Angel is a very great sci-fi movie. It's set very many centuries in the future, and yeah, basically it's based off a manga before this movie came out, nobody has heard of before, basically. But again, that's what movies are. They bring properties that nobody has heard of before. Just think of Guardians of the Galaxy. Before Guardians of the Galaxy came out, nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. And now we all know who they are. So yeah. And yeah, this movie is very great. There's a lot. The CGI in this movie sort of been nominated for Best CGI, but instead they chose 1917, which didn't really have. It's really more of practical effects than CGI. Not, I don't know why that was nominated for CGI over Alita Battle Angel, but yeah, the storyline is actually good. And yeah, what were the critics really seeing of Alita Battle Angel? Were they seeing a different movie? Were they seeing the Cats movie in the skies? If you want to know a source movie, CGI movie, just go watch Cats or The Lion King. That's a real source CGI movie. The characters are great. The story is great. And yeah, hopefully that rumor that, there was a sequel coming is actually true and not false. Like some many other rumors that I have covered over the years. And yeah, that is 10 movies. I'll probably make 10 more movies because there's lots of movies that I have on my list of 100 greatest movies and movies that I had not even mentioned yet that are not even on that list that I like. So yeah, that's basically it. Goodbye.